dapper. I see that silk suit swagger rocking. He trying to rock with the Deadpool. And guess what? Breaking news. Breaking news. Molly ain't got on white boots. What the hell is this world coming to? So he takes his house. Let's go.
Collection. Goodbye.
Who got the power? We got the power. Yeah, tell me I'm louder. Yeah, we got the power. Yeah, light up the sky with the flames. Been through the storm and the rain. I see how far we came. I'm the beast that they never contain. We going stronger, we going longer. This is the record, you know I'm on you. Don't have to wait too much longer. We be in power up in the morning. Who got the power?
It's first take on a Feel Good Friday, and I got my PICs in tow. Stephen A. Smith, Swagoo. I'm Molly Karam. And you know what? I say I inspired you because I had the periwinkle sweater dress yesterday, so then you picked out that tie. It's cool. I got a lot of mini-me's running around here, so it's nothing new.
I just
Imitation is the highest
Molly,
form of
what you call that?
What
you call it?
periwinkle?
Periwinkle?
Periwinkle, yes.
I would remind,
Okay,
I
that's
would,
a new one.
Swagoo,
I gotta add that one.
Swagoo, let me spit some facts
There's
before
shades.
the show begins. I will
Okay.
remind you,
What?
Molly Q.
What?
I would remind you, Swagoo.
But
There's one of us here right now on screen that was featured in GQ. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
you know what?
I'm just saying.
You know what?
I'm just saying.
You know what?
I was featured in GQ magazine. I'm just saying.
You know what? I got
Okay.
nothing for that.
I know you don't.
I got nothing for that.
Let's move on.
Because that's one magazine
Let's-
I'd actually want to be
Let's
in.
move on. Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay, don't hurt yourself,
Right.
okay? Oh my goodness. Let's
Yeah.
go, Marcus.
Yeah, let's
All right, guys. The Bills dominant in Kansas City once already this season, beating the Chiefs 38-20 in Week 5. Josh Allen threw for 315 yards, 3 TDs, while their defense picked off Patrick Mahomes twice. But Mahomes and the Chiefs got the best of Bills Mafia when it counted most in the playoffs, losing the 2020 AFC Championship game. And Josh Allen is looking to exact revenge this time around at Arrowhead.
We know in this league, the quarterbacks, they get a lot of the praise and they get a lot of the hate and the downfall and all that stuff too. And I think it just kind of comes with this position that we play. But, to think about people saying that, it's obviously pretty cool to be in that conversation with a player who's won MVP and won a Super Bowl already. And, he's done all the major things that you want to accomplish in your career. And obviously he wants more too.
Josh Allen, very humble, likable guy. Marcus, I want to start with you here. Obviously, I grew up in the Manning-Brady rivalry era, so that's the best for me. But do you think when we're looking at the AFC right now, Mahomes and Allen could be the next?
Nope, not at all. Because we forgetting about Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And I know Justin Herbert made an exit from the playoffs, but those are two young quarterbacks that will have something to say in the AFC going forward. I like the idea of the recreation of Peyton and Tom. I like the idea of seeing two teams battle it out every year in the playoffs at some point to determine who is going to go to the AFC Championship or to the Super Bowl. But ultimately, we got the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs right now with a second-year quarterback. Like, Joe Burrow has done as much for his team as Mahomes and Josh Allen has done for their teams. And when you look at everything that's happening around this league, Joe Burrow got an elite receiver in Jamar Chase. He got another high-level receiver in T. Higgins. He has a tight end. This franchise is reinvigorated. They are starting to be what everybody thought they would be within that building with all of this young talent and getting the quarterback that they want. And do we forget what Justin Herbert did last out? And I know they lost the game, and I'm going to put that on his head, Coach Staley, for always going for it on fourth down, making some terrible decisions along the way. Analytics, my tail. It's Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes is the king of the crop. Don't get it twisted. Been to 2 Super Bowls, been a league MVP, thrown 50 touchdowns in one season. He's done enough to let us know that he's still the best guy and the top dog in the AFC. Oh, but they coming, and it ain't just Josh Allen.
Well, you're wrong. No surprise there. But I will tell you this.
Explain it to me.
I'm about to explain it to you, and you're going to agree with me once I get finished with you, swagoo. Because this is the whole point. This is the funny part about this that you're missing. Okay? Nobody's debating Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. You know how I feel about Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. We all feel what we feel about Joe Burrow. You're absolutely right. But the reason why I tell you the Manning-Brady comparisons as it pertains to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are palatable. There's something that we can stomach. You know why, Swagoo, in all seriousness? Because right now there's a legitimate argument that those are the two better teams. So again, if Josh Allen, because we all know what Patrick Mahomes is, and we know what the Kansas City Chiefs are because they're the two-time AFC champions and they won a Super Bowl and he's won an MVP, all this other stuff. If Josh Allen were able to pull this off this weekend, then all of a sudden it elevates Buffalo, which I don't think you would deny. Here's the comparison, for example. When we looked at Peyton Manning, when he was going to a Super Bowl and losing to New Orleans, or going to a Super Bowl and he was winning over the Chicago Bears, okay? We know that Tom Brady was there and relevant. Tom Brady and him went against each other 17 times. Tom Brady's got like an 11-6 record, but lost a few playoff games to Peyton Manning. We get all of that. But also, Ben Roethlisberger was in the league in the AFC. Phillip Rivers was there as well. One year, I think the year that the Colts went to the Super Bowl and lost to New Orleans, San Diego Chargers, before they moved to L.A., they were 13-3. Phillip Rivers, some people are saying he's destined for the Hall of Fame. It's debatable in my mind, but that's a story for another day. The point is, both of them were high-quality quarterbacks within the conference, but the teams in Indianapolis and New England were better. So when I look at Buffalo and I look at Kansas City, I see Cincinnati and Burrow. And if Burrow gets Cincinnati, to the AFC Championship game, that kind of stuff, and you know what, he knocks off these guys, this is a different argument. You're right. And, of course, if Justin Herbert comes back next year and does what he's capable of doing, because we know the reason the Chargers ain't in the playoffs ain't because of him. It's because of stuff around him. It ain't because of him. So it's no question about the quality of the quarterbacks. I'm not doubting that in terms of what you're explaining. I'm simply saying if you got two elite quarterbacks and their teams are better than those other two quarterbacks' teams, then that's what could make for a rivalry comparable to Manning-Brady.
Okay, I hear you, but you under the assumption that things won't change. The Buffalo their offensive and defensive coordinator right now interviewing for head coaching jobs. They trying to figure out if they still gonna have the same staff. This thing changes year in and year out, SA. But the one common denominator between all of those things you just said is that the quarterback remains. Obviously, the franchises and the organizations are going to have to keep a similar structure in place. Kansas City has done it for a while. Eric Bieniemy, we've been screaming on this show. Me and you've been fighting to get him hired at a new place. The dynamics change. But here's the thing, and what you just said. We never had Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger in the same conversation with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. We never attributed their skill set and their ability to being like those two guys. I can do that with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. Whoa. I can do that right now.
Whoa.
What's up?
No. I'm not saying that you're wrong because you're not wrong. But I'm saying the dominance of the New England Patriots and the dominance of Peyton Manning on that level, that's what did that for them. And if Ben Roethlisberger, for example, when Ben Roethlisberger went against Seattle in the Super Bowl, he didn't play good at all. So we saw the limitations. Phillip Rivers couldn't even get the Chargers to but one conference championship game. So we saw that. So when you talk about Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, of course your argument is definitely absolutely right if they can elevate them to that point. What I'm saying is if Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes, right, and he knocks off those guys. Because of what Mahomes already is, and Josh Allen elevates this team to a Super Bowl appearance, we're going to look at the greatness of Burrow. We're going to look at the greatness of Herbert. But what I'm saying is, to some degree, that's going to pale in comparison to Mahomes and Josh Allen because of the greatness of their teams. And that's what's going to usurp anything we're seeing from them. That's all I'm saying.
SA, we talk the other two quarterbacks we talking about in Burrow and Herbert. They in their second year.
I agree. I agree with that.
Here's the point I'm giving you. There was not that level of quarterback play based on what we're seeing. Now, I don't want people to go crazy and think Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers probably be a Hall of Famer as well. But they wasn't talented as these two guys I'm talking about. Like that is the difference for me. They are not as talented as a Joe Burrow and a Justin Herbert. They
weren't as protected by the game as these guys are now, too, though. Game softer.
And say that goes in my way of the point. These quarterbacks have more of an ability to have an effect on the outcome of their football teams than they did when those rivalries was going on. And then, too, this is the other part of the conversation. Tom Brady, we always forget that he had an elite defense.
No.
When you talk about Peyton Manning, he had weapons around him. When you're looking at these quarterbacks now and the way teams are currently constructed, I will go out there and say that when you have elite quarterbacks, when you have guys that are trending in that direction, you will always have a chance to win games and playoff games. And Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are those guys. They are better than Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers trajectory-wise than they ever were to compare them or have them as flies in the ointment with Tom Brady and obviously Peyton Manning.
Here's
Patrick
what I know
Mahomes
about Allen
and Josh
Mahomes,
Allen
though.
has company.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, both had record-breaking performances in those wild card games. They both put on a show.
Yeah, let me say one more thing.
Allen had a 98 QBR.
I appreciate Swagoo's take, but you got NFL Live, you got your podcast. You're going to have to make your takes just a touch shorter so I can come back at you.
No.
Don't be going on for an hour. You hear me?
Go wrong because you be wrong.
That's what I'm trying to tell him.
I have to correct things in my take.
I didn't say don't correct it.
I have to correct certain things.
I said do it expeditiously. That's what I said.
Well, it take a little time when you got to correct people.
You heard what I said. You
All right, can we move on to another quarterback?
We can.
Can we
watch your tone.
Please, Molly, please.
Okay.
Please.
Watch your tone.
All right, we debated fashion. We
Periwinkle.
debated who talks
Mr.
longer.
Periwinkle.
Now can we debate sports? Thank you. What a year it's been for Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. Holdouts, Hawaii dreams, immunized status, and a whole lot of TDs. Let's go on the field and marinate on this. Aaron Rodgers goes into the playoffs after capping off another incredible season. Last week, he was named the NFL's first-team All-Pro quarterback, just like last season when he also won. What, Stephen? What did he win? Oh, that would be MVP. So I will ask you this, Swaggo, because I know Stephen A. is not unbiased. He can't help himself. Is Aaron Rodgers the baddest man left in these playoffs?
No, it's Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is going to determine whether the Rams go to the Super Bowl or not. We can get caught up on Matthew Stafford and the offense and Odell Beckham Jr. This team will be led by number 99. The way he plays will have a direct correlation to them going to the Super Bowl. I get it. Like, first of all, it's an unfair question. The quarterback touches the ball every damn game. So we know who he going with. Put your head down, look all sad. But Aaron Donald is more responsible for his team. I don't want to pick Molly, I'm telling you, Aaron Donald is going to be more responsible for his team because he impacts everything around him. The last game they played against Tom Brady in Tampa, it was Aaron Donald with a sack fumble to change the game. It was pressures from Aaron Donald. I get it. He's the best defensive player in the league. I know that TJ Watt gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald is the best defender in the league. Aaron Donald changes games. He changes how offenses operate, and you have to account for him as much as you have to account for anybody else on the field. And that coming from a defensive tackle, and the way Raheem Morris uses him as the defensive coordinator, he's going to impact the Rams' trajectory a lot more than anybody else in this playoffs.
I don't know how much credibility.
That was short enough for you?
I don't know how much credibility Marcus Spears has with this subject. I personally believe Marcus Spears is completely biased against anybody 200 pounds or lighter. I just personally think that way. I just think that I've got to that point.
You always hate on the big man because you are a skinny kid.
One of the best segments on television is Big Man Bowling.
Molly, he ain't skinny.
You got to see Big Man Bowling on NFL Live. It's one of the best segments in all of television.
Come see it.
There is no question
Thank you,
about
sir.
it.
Thank you.
I love it. I don't give a damn what. Listen, here's all you need to know. I TiVoed General Hospital and interrupted General Hospital to watch Big Man Bowling. And then I went back to watch General Hospital. But I had to see Big Man Bowling. That's how much I love that segment. Okay? And if you watch that segment, he is completely biased against anybody under 200 pounds. He ain't got no, Marcus ain't got no use for you. You 200 pounds.
It ain't got nothing to do with them.
These skinny dudes news? What should we be talking about them? Aaron Donald is a stud. The brother's elite. We all know this, even though I would throw Jalen Ramsey into that category as well. That brother is something special. Jalen Ramsey, what an acquisition for the Rams to have him. Not just because of his ability, his temperament, his personality, okay? And oh, by the way, it's not an accident that the Jacksonville Jaguars fell off the map the second he departed from that franchise, because you got to infuse a certain personality and culture in that locker room. Jalen Ramsey is special, man. He's special. Having said all of that, neither one of them is that bad man called Aaron Rodgers. Neither one of them. Neither one of them. And listen, and not only that, listen, I'm about to be out in Southern California in a couple of weeks because it's been a while since I've been out there,
Goodness.
Oh, me too.
That's right.
Me too.
Right. You too. And it's going to be a beautiful thing to get away from these freezing temperatures and get some sunshine, some Southern California sunshine. I need it. I ain't going to lie to you. I need it desperately, okay? To go from that to Lambeau Field inside of a week, that's a tough call. Now, I know Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And I get that Jalen Ramsey is Jalen Ramsey. But Devontae Adams is on the other side. Lazard and Scantlin are on the other side. Randall Cobb's experience will come in handy because he's in the playoffs. Yeah. And you got a dual running attack in Dillon, all right, and Jones. Okay. I'm just looking at them with Aaron Rodgers having all of these weapons available to him. I'm sorry. To utilize at his disposal as potent and lethal and big time as Aaron Donald is, I am sorry. It is about Aaron Rodgers.
Time out for 1 second, Swaggle. Let me get in here because I know you're a low-key meteorologist and a self-proclaimed man crush on Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be -9 degrees there, right?
That's right. I think so.
Okay.
I thought it was -6.
Okay. Well, I heard -9. All right, from Dan Graziano earlier. I heard -9.
Right.
So if Aaron Rodgers called you and was like, hey, Stephen A., can you come out? Can you be at the game? Can you be on the field for me? I need you there. Just like Michael Irvin was there for Dak Prescott. Would you go?
I would tell you this. Because of what I just went through, no. But had I not gone through that and I didn't have COVID to still on my mind, and Aaron Rodgers wanted me there, I'd be there for Aaron Rodgers. Because I believe in this brother.
Molly,
I believe in this brother.
Molly?
I believe in him is what I'm trying to say. I believe in him.
Yeah, in an igloo.
Molly Q?
Yeah.
Molly Q? Molly Q? Don't let this man sit on this damn show and fool you. Because if Jalen Ramsey called him to come to L.A., as opposed to going to Green Bay for a game, he's going to the West Coast. Don't let this man lie to you on TV.
You're right about that.
He wouldn't have even said what I just went through. He'd be right
about that. You're right about that. I'm not denying it. But Aaron Rodgers calling me is for Aaron Rodgers. Jalen Ramsey calling me is for Jalen Ramsey in L.A. It's the combination of the two. And so far, let's throw that in, because the stadium is fly. I would know. I was there.
So ultimately, you wouldn't be going. Ultimately, you wouldn't be going to see your best friend because you would want to be comfortable.
Well, I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers is my best friend,
especially
Molly?
after
I had.
Molly, remember that when you call him and need him.
That was
remember
a big.
That?
You know what? I picked up everything you just did right there. I saw what he would run to. He would run to the shine, the comfort, and not be down, not be ride or die, and not be down for Aaron Rodgers. But it's cool. Just show your true colors. Show it right now on national TV. Thank you for doing that, revealing your truth right there.
I'm not down with the cold weather. I'm not down with the cold weather.
I appreciate you visiting the law offices of Spears and Spears.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Spears, I got a question for you, though, on Aaron Donald. You know he's only sacked Tom Brady once in his career. So you think he's going to be able to put in work this weekend?
Molly, absolutely, yes. And listen, this is what gets misconstrued. That's why I made the comment about the quarterback touches his hands. People that watch football and really dive deep into it, they know Aaron Donald affects damn near every defensive play when the Rams are on the field. Even if he's not the guy garnering the stats, he affects what teams do. You have to change what you do offensively because this dude is on the field. Now, look, when we talk about grand scheme context, quarterbacks will always be the talk and the toast.
Yeah.
But to me, if the Los Angeles Rams are going to have a chance to win a Super Bowl, especially this week, Aaron Donald is going to have to be who Aaron Donald is, and he's probably going to be that because history tells us that that's normally who he is.
All right, so Stephen A., let me ask you this. At age 44, let me remind you, age ain't nothing but a number, okay? Tom Brady.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, why is everything?
Well, go ahead.
Why, Marcus? Why is everything back to him and about him?
Molly.
Always death, taxes, and it's about Stephen A.
To gas him up.
All I said is I would know. All I said is I would know.
Unintentional.
Can I get to it?
Go ahead.
Because I'm talking about Tom Brady.
All I said is I would know.
And I'm
That's
trying
all
to show him love.
I didn't say anything else.
At age 44, Stephen A., he led the NFL in pass TDs and pass yards. So who's going to have a bigger impact on this game? Is it Brady or Aaron Donald?
I'm going to say Brady.
Why do you sound so depressed?
You know, I'm because I say it with trepidation, in all seriousness, because Tristan Wirfs being hurt is a devastating blow. When you got Aaron Donald on the other side.
There you go.
And by the way, let's not forget Von Miller. He was brought there to get some sacks. He has made his presence known now. He has answered the call, okay? Let's not forget Von Miller. But I'm just saying, you know, when you're compromising your offensive line, particularly at that right tackle spot, that can be very, very detrimental. And we understand that. But I'm thinking about the brilliance of Tom Brady, knowing that coming into the game. If it's something that happened during the game, that's entirely different because you got to make adjustments on the fly, and that might be too much for him to overcome. There's something inside of me that says him having a week to figure it out and the game plan for any disabilities that are that he has to deal with. You know what? It's hard to bet against him. I'm just saying. Listen, I expect Aaron Donald to make his presence felt, but if you're asking me, and that doesn't necessarily mean Tampa's going to win the game. I'm just saying if you're asking me who's going to have a bigger impact, I'm still going to go with Brady because he's Brady.
I respect that, S.A., and it's a difficult question to answer, but the point you made about Tristan Wirfs is the key. Because if you look at the Los Angeles Rams over the course of the season, they are going to find the weakness for Aaron Donald to exploit in a football game. They do it every single week. And to your point, now that you got Von Miller, you can do that across the line of scrimmage. And remember, Jensen, the center, may be a little banged up as well for this Tampa Bay offensive line. So when you think about this game in context, and I got to see, because I know, you know, I hate to mention this name after what happened yesterday after you got flamed, but Dan Orlovsky is the Matthew Stafford guy. He's the apologist. He's the guy.
How did I get
flamed? You got flamed yesterday.
But how?
Because you got lined up because he went in there and you didn't respond.
Well,
See,
why?
I come on here and you tell all these big jokes about your hairline being done with a fork, and he put three of your suits on the screen.
Time out. First of all, a couple of things. Number one, it's very important to say, and you can appreciate what I'm about to say. Number one, Elvis doesn't get to talk about my hairline. I mean, Elvis passed away decades ago. How you walking on the air, you know, trying to look like Elvis, talking about me in the year 2022? That's number one. Number two, a couple of the outfits he tried to critique was pretty damn fly. I don't know what the hell Dan Orlovsky was talking about.
The white coat was fly. The white coat.
Come on, y'all. My game was tight. Just stop it. And number three, I want to see what cats looking like when they 54. I look pretty damn good. You know, I'm good.
He didn't get you with that hairline fart comb.
You know,
that hairline fart comb.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Swagoo, I've been hearing about my hairline for 15 years. It ain't new.
But you have not gotten that one.
It ain't new. Hey, listen. Some people don't have one. They gave up on it a long time ago. I still got hope. You know, and there's always hair club for men. It ain't beyond me. It ain't beyond me. I can do that too. I'm straight.
Bald
ain't no shame.
Bald is beautiful,
come on now.
And women don't care.
You know what?
To answer your question, Molly Q, Aaron Donald for me.
Okay.
Aaron Donald for me.
Aaron Donald, first team All-Pro for the 7th straight season. That's the longest streak in NFL history. But I want to go back to my man Brady. Can he do enough to overcome all these injuries, fellas, and get the job done and run it back?
No. Not this year. I think that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, and the fact that you're at Lambeau Field, and the fact that you lost last year at Lambeau Field, I can tell you this. I don't think he could do it. If he did do it, even though a lot of people will reflect on the greatness of Brady because of what he has to endure without Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin at his disposal, a lot of people would also be focused on the fact that you, Aaron Rodgers, and you let this happen to you twice back-to-back years. Brother, come on your home field at age 44 and get it done over you with the crew that you have available to you in Green Bay. That is entirely unacceptable. Entirely unacceptable. And I'm telling you right now, I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is getting knocked off. I believe Aaron Rodgers going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, but so here's what I need to know. In this game, in this Rams-Bucks game, do you think Tom Brady's getting it done?
Go ahead, Swagoo.
Oh, you need some time.
I got the Rams.
You need some, no, you're buying time.
I got the Rams.
He's buying
No,
time.
I just wanted to get time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll go first. I got the Rams, and I'm nervous about it. Don't get me wrong. Betting against Brady will always make you nervous because he's figured out how to do these things in the face of these type of situations before. I just think this particular year, when you look at how football has been played and the impact of what guys have been able to do, the Los Angeles Rams went out and got Matthew Stafford for these particular games. And I'm not guaranteeing that Matthew Stafford is going to play great, but I do believe that it's going to impact the rest of the entire team. And when you look at this defense for the Los Angeles Rams and the things that Tampa Bay is dealing with, I got to give them the edge in this matchup. The only issue I see in this game, if Tampa Bay gets a dub, it's going to be on their defense. Their defense has a shot at changing some of the narrative around this game. Their defense has a shot to turn Matthew Stafford over. So, but I'm going with the Rams because I think their defense will show up.
That's where I was going, Swagoo. I'm all over the place, man. I got a different answer every hour about this game. Because that's how back and forth I've been about this. I'm going to agree with you and go with the Rams on this because of that defense and how debilitated the offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is. We don't know if Leonard Fournette's going to be ready. We know that Antonio Brown and Godwin are out. You know, as a result, Tom Brady's going to key on Gronk and Mike Evans, okay? Which means LA's
Tristan
defense
Wirfs,
knows
like you
that.
mentioned earlier.
Tristan Wirfs is compromised, so that compromises the protection of Tom Brady to have time to throw the football. The only reason I keep waffling back and forth on this is because I don't trust Matthew Stafford. Part of the reason I don't trust him is because he's risque and he wants to do things that sometimes he shouldn't do, and he makes mistakes that he shouldn't make, and he's definitely capable of that. And the other thing is, I ain't trying to agree with no damn Dan Orlovsky. That's the real man crush there, Dan Orlovsky with Matthew Stafford. That's the real man crush.
They're boys.
That's the real man crush.
That's
true.
They're boys.
But Dan Orlovsky is not good. He's an exceptional NFL analyst.
Yeah.
And if you look at him, listen to him talk about everyone else in football, college and pro.
Yeah.
And then watch how everything changes the minute he brings up Matthew Stafford.
Or
he has no objectivity whatsoever. He is gone. So I ain't trying to agree with him about nothing about Matthew Stafford. Because he has no objectivity.
Y'all know what this Stephen A. and Molly Q, y'all know what this man told me, and they ain't catching strays. I love you, brother, but he catching strays today. We were on NFL Live a few weeks ago. Matthew Stafford had thrown 7 interceptions in the last 3 weeks. You know what Dan Orlovsky told me? I ain't concerned. What? He said I wasn't concerned.
That's it.
So he doesn't throw a pick, they're 7-0. He's got to take care of the football. Absolutely.
That's it.
But you know why Dan is so good at his job? Because he puts in the work. And you know who else puts in the work? That is Tom Brady.
100%.
I'm never going to bet against the GOAT. That is Tom Brady. Okay? So I'm going with the Bucs. So I just want to be clear. Let's just put it out there. All right? We'll all put it out there. So just on the Lake Show's woes. And now Russ is opening up, telling my guy, Adrian Wojnarowski, this about the benching decision. Surprised? Yes, I was disappointed. I didn't go back in, but I'm more disappointed that we lost the damn game. I want to be able to be on the floor to help my teammates and be able to help our team win in games like that. But that was a decision that was made. I want to get better as the season goes on. I've got to take responsibility for the things I'm doing and how I'm making those around me better. We have a legitimate chance to be able to win it all. And to do that, I'll have to be better. And I know that I will be. Big Perk, you here?
What's up, Molly?
Hey, how we doing, big time? Good to see you.
How you doing? What's up,
up, big boy?
Fresh lineup.
big boy?
Somebody's ready. I see it. It's Friday.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Perk, I'll start with you. Is it time for Westbrook to come off the bench?
I think for the Lakers and for this team, yes. And I think Russ has reached the point of his career, and it's okay because everyone goes through it as a player, as a former NBA player, where you come to that time where you just don't really have it no more. And I think Russ coming off the bench is not a bad thing. See, a lot of people out there in the world think, oh, if you're not a starter, then you're not at a certain level. No, it's not about who starts the game, it's about who finishes the game. And I think it will be great because now he could come in, move LeBron James back to the starting point guard position, have Russ come in, and now he could be Russell Westbrook. He could be aggressive where he's not standing in the corner. Again, I took a lot of heat off of Frank Vogel and the coaching staff, but once again, Russell Westbrook isn't going anywhere. So with that being said, you have to find a way to put him in position to be successful. And that's not hanging around the three-point line. That's not shooting those 15-footers. That's getting downhill, dribble handoff actions, things to that nature. But I hate to say it, as of today, right now, yes, it's time for Russell Westbrook to come off the bench.
I'm not sure I agree with that. Let me
That's
tell
your
you
fault.
why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. And by the way, great job on NBA Today yesterday. I was watching yesterday. Did a great job. Let me say this, man. Russell Westbrook, this more than anything, Perk, it's time for a realization. Russell Westbrook is going to have to accept the fact you can't shoot. You just can't shoot. Now, over the last three times over the last 4 years, you've shot 66% from the free throw line or worse, which is bad enough. You're not a jump shooter. And now, Russell Westbrook, cats are laying off of you and daring you to shoot jump shots. And you can't make them. And considering the direction that the league is going in, all of those things make sense to say Perkins is right. You should, he needs to come off the bench. Here's my thinking. I believe the month was February of 2020, Perk, where Russell Westbrook was a monster. He was player of the month. Well, damn it, he wasn't shooting well then either in terms of his jump shots. He was attacking the basket with vigor. And what he said was, the hell with what I can't do. Here's what I can do. And what I can do here is going to make you formidable enough. Like, for example, Perk, let me use a boxing analogy for a quick second here. We look at Deontay Wilder, and a lot of people question his boxing ability, right? And he loses to Tyson Fury. If you watch a Deontay Wilder, no shame there whatsoever. The brother outweighed you by 38, 39 pounds for crying out loud, okay?
Correct.
And you still dropped him twice. We got mad respect for Deontay Wilder. And if it was anybody in that ring other than Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder would have finished them. He wouldn't have finished them because of his boxing ability. He would have finished them because of that nuclear right hand that puts people to sleep. What I'm saying is that he knows that about himself, which is why he looks to finish you with it. You Russell Westbrook, it's like you're trying to prove people wrong when they think you can't shoot a jump shot. Or when they say, let them go to the free throw line. No, attack them. Make them, Russell Westbrook, to me, more than coming off the bench, Perk, needs to go home, look in the mirror, and go like this. Oh, people think these cats are better than me. They think I'm finished. Let me remind them of who the hell I am and attack the damn basket and make sure they know That's the dude coming at them because we know he can still do that. And either you do that, you kick it out to an open shooter, or you attack and try to finish. And don't do anything else. You do that, I don't think he has to come off the bench.
Yeah, but Stephen A., here's the point. When he did that in Houston, remember, Houston had to give up a huge piece of their culture in order to open up things for Russell Westbrook to be able to do that in trading Clint Capella. Okay, that's one thing. Let me tell you something. When I look at Russell Westbrook, a guy that played with him for 4 years in Oklahoma City Thunder, right now I see a Russell Westbrook that's broken. And it hurts
I agree
me.
there.
It hurts me.
I agree.
And I don't see the same edge. He didn't get taken out the
Broken
game.
how?
I'm about to explain, Molly.
Okay.
He didn't get taken out the game the other day because of him going 5 for 17 from the field. He got taken out the game because of when he ran back on defense and his body language and his lack of effort on the defensive side of things. And Frank Vogel said, I just can't have this. I can't have this. I can't have you jogging back in transition. I cannot have you guarding Karis LeVert knowing that he wants to go right. Look, he's not even involved into the play right now. Check him out. Karis LeVert, we know he wants to go right. So like this lack of effort right there when your other 4 guys are out there playing at their highest level, this is not the Russ that I'm used to seeing. And so I said this when we first came on First Take, when the Lakers first formed, I said what? This is going to be a different type of pressure for Russell Westbrook. He's playing in one of the biggest markets in the history of sports. He's playing at home, and it's just something not right. And Molly, why I say that I feel like he's broken, I'm listening to his post-game interviews, and he's saying things to, it's bigger than basketball. It's more than life. No, it's not
basketball.
Right now. Yeah, it's about basketball.
It's about basketball.
It's about basketball. Yeah, everything
But do you
else in
think
life.
he's just saying that to deflect?
No,
And to act like it's
no.
not bothering him like that? Or you really think his mind is elsewhere?
No, I think his mind is elsewhere, Molly. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Anytime Russell Westbrook had a bad game and Russell Westbrook listened to us, to First Take, he hears everything that is being said about him, okay? And we all know that he always responds, whether it's a guy talking noise to him, the next day he said, I'm going to go out there and bust his you-know-what. And all of a sudden he goes out there and give them that work. I don't see that same Russ.
Let me say this. Let me chime in here because I want to emphasize this. It's important that I bring this up. First of all, KP and I talk off the air all the time. So I want to make sure everybody understands Russell Westbrook is a former teammate that Kendrick Perkins loves dearly. Cares a lot about this brother. Believes in him not just as a player, but as a man. And KP constantly has raved about the character of Russell Westbrook over the years. That's point number 1. Point number 2 you brought up, and I said this when he said it in Washington. Russell Westbrook got his mind on a lot of things. He's doing very, very well off the court. He's a successful businessman, and he cares about a certain segment of our population, and he caters a lot to doing everything he can to help various communities. So he's very philanthropic, and his soul is in the right place. The problem with that is that he doesn't separate it from the game once the outcome is over. In other words, you lose a game, so. Now, you didn't play on the court like so. You showed that effort, and you tried to put in that work for the most part, with the exception of the play against Karis LeVert the other night. But the problem is, in my humble opinion, watching Russell Westbrook throughout recent years, the attitude is, I'm going to give all I got during the game, but if the outcome ain't what I want it to be, I'm still good because guess what? I'm happy, and I'm happier than champions. People who have won championships, I'm happier than they are. You can't be a Laker and feel that way. That's what Magic Johnson's tweet was about in part the other day. The Lakers have a different standard. And if you're not ready to answer that call, Jeannie Buss, they cannot be a Laker. That's what Magic is saying, and that is why I said change is coming. Whether it's a player, a trade, or the coach himself, change is coming because Magic Johnson didn't say that for nothing. I'll give you the last word, KP.
Yeah, and then we got to get out of here.
Yeah, well, Molly, Stephen, I was just going to say, I leave the studio and I go right there to Fixin' Soul Food Restaurant every day. I don't miss it, okay? And I walk up in there and get me something to eat, and this is Wednesday before the Lakers are playing the Pacers. And you know who I run into? My good friends, OG Westbrook and Mama Westbrook. And the first thing came to my mind, I said, I know they about to get on me because I've been killing Russ lately. And do you know they embraced me with open arms? They didn't say one thing about basketball. They sat there and actually conversated with me and actually paid for my meal, and it was genuine love and care. And you know what OG Westbrook said? Perk, I love what you're doing on ESPN because you just keep it real. And so with that being said is, no one holds Russ more accountable than his own parents and his own pops. So if I'm on here and Stephen A., you on here saying things about Russell Westbrook, that's because we expect more. And we know that he could give more. I just want to see the Russ of old.
On any of y'all, I got a top 5 list of my top favorite moments from Sunday's Dallas.
This is the most hateful list.
What you
just did, Stephen A.
What I do, King? I would tell you you're gonna be all right, boy. But I promise you, you won't. How about them Cowboys?
Oh, who can relate to what I put up with? That would be the one and only Rich Eisen,
My
who is
brother.
gracing our screen, kind enough to make time for us. Rich, you know what it's
What's up?
like to deal with all these big personalities, and it is so good to see you. Big hug here from the East Coast. How we doing?
I'm doing great. That was a brilliant montage. That I got to tell you, Stephen A. I am appreciative. I am sending just the utmost of kudos. What a virtuoso performance. However, I'm genuinely concerned that you broke Michael Irvin, and
Yeah.
we've got 2 shows coming up this weekend. And it's 8.5 hours of television.
Yes.
I'm genuinely nervous that the job you pulled, the dirtiness with which you, shall we say, delivered your sentiments concerns me greatly.
Well,
Genuinely.
I want to say a couple of things. First things first, we got to get the pleasantries out of the way. Give my love to the wonderful wife, Susie. Just send my best. We got to make sure we do that, okay? That's my girl right
That's
there.
it.
She and I go back years, okay? So I got to give
That's
love
true.
to her. That's number one. And number two, it's an honor and a privilege to have one of the people that's responsible for ESPN being all that it is, like yourself, man. Always great to see you. Now, I want to ask this question. You know, as you watch those Cowboys collapse the way that they did.
Yes.
I know you talk about how worried you are about Michael Irvin, but I mean, what purpose does he serve now? I mean, I just got to ask that question. I mean, you know, this guy sat up there and he encouraged. Look at the grid. He encouraged people to buy non-refundable tickets to SoFi.
Yes.
Okay, so he cost them money. Okay, and you see how devastated those Cowboy fans were. I mean, what purpose does Michael Irvin serve for you now, Rich Eisen? What purpose does he serve?
Well, you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I do believe that at some point on either Saturday or Sunday's NFL Game Day morning, he will serve the same purpose for us as he did for you on Monday.
Right.
I don't believe it will be as lengthy or as, again, dirty as you did. Like, I don't believe we will have a cowboy hat and a cigar and show a montage of crying Cowboy fans.
Why not?
But you know, I think you've occupied that space so expertly. We can't. There's no there anymore. I mean, this guy right here in particular is, you know, I think an all-time meme. So look, I'm concerned for his mental well-being moving forward,
Yeah.
And, on top of it, the fact that you might now have gotten in his head about my catching abilities
Yes.
and the fact that I have not dropped a ball in the demo segments on game day morning yet all year long. And I have said on this show, let me get it right there, right behind me, that I will not drop a pass the rest of this post-game, post-season shows. I think I might have a throwing and catching contest with Michael coming up in the next.
Let's get into the game.
Yes. No, let me get. Can I go? Can I ask a question? Because there's something I want to know. Because obviously, Rich, all we talk about is the quarterback storylines, narratives, and I eat it all up. I love all of it. So tell me this: in your opinion, which quarterback winning would be the best storyline or the most legacy defining?
Oh gosh, I think I could go in the direction of, say, Josh Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the Buffalo Bills have been dreaming of somebody like him to arrive, and not just someone like him in the way that he performs to spank the Patriots out of the playoffs after 2 decades of being spanked by them. And we could say about Joe Burrow and Tannehill, obviously. The first timers are the obvious ones, but there's only one answer, and it's Tom Brady. That's it. I mean, if Tom Brady goes back to back, the number of times I have said anything of the following, or you have, anybody on either network, any network, if Tom Brady does fill in the blank, well, then he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He has put more and more space between him and everyone else. If he goes back to back for the first time since he went back to back, then we will place him in a further stratosphere that no one will ever reach.
Wait.
So that's the answer.
1 second on that, Rich, though. Isn't his legacy already cemented? Don't you feel like we already know Brady's the GOAT? He already has all those rings. I guess I'm sort of leading the witness here, is what Stephen A. calls it.
Yes.
I'm guilty of often on this show. But wouldn't you say it's more so Aaron Rodgers? I mean, with all the offseason talk about him and getting that monkey off his back of winning another than Brady?
Well, I mean, we could say, again, sure. Obviously, him winning 2 puts him on Bart Starr's footing in terms of number of championships won by a Green Bay Packers quarterback. But we're still talking about second place, and maybe that makes your point that Brady's already reached a certain level that he can't actually scrape a ceiling or break through another ceiling. And I say that that's what sports is about, that, greed, for the lack of a better word, is good. That's the way he operates, and that's why Brady is unlike anyone else.
Rich, if anybody knows sports, it's you. If anybody knows what the people want in sports, it's you. Super Bowl matchup, ideal Super Bowl matchup. Out of what? Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, the crew. I mean, everything. What's the best Super Bowl matchup for the people in your eyes?
You said it. It's Brady Mahomes. To see Brady try and do it one more time, and to see Mahomes get one more crack at Brady, and then the guy that we're all assuming is going to be as terrific as he currently is for as long as Brady has done it in Mahomes, for Brady to beat him twice then in back-to-back years, I think we would be all pulled up in front of the screen to see Brady do it again. Obviously, Green Bay is an incredibly popular franchise, and to see Rodgers go against Mahomes as well, those would be the matchups I would throw out 1 and 2.
No, right for there. Sure. Rich Eisen, in 1996, Jay-Z always says that's when his career really kicked off. But also, another guy, and I've asked you to look forward a lot in this show, and I'd like to flash back. And can we please show a young Rich Eisen here making his Sports
that's my first Sports Center.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Rich, talk me through this, just seeing this, the memories that come to mind.
Well, first of all, pour one out for the lid. That's the first thing. Secondly, I just remember that day was a March Madness Sweet 16 day. And I remember it was a Saturday of March Madness. And Larry Beal was my co-anchor. And I remember thinking to myself as I went down, and there were about 15 highlights in the show. and I had only seen one before. I said, I have two choices. I can either pee down my leg or go down and do the show. And interestingly enough, I found an option C. I did both. And thankfully, I survived it. I will never forget that day. It was a game changer, if you will.
Oh, my goodness.
For sure.
Oh, my gosh.
You know.
One of the best in the business for so many years.
Without
and
question.
you continue to be rich. And let me just say this.
Thanks.
The fact that you remember that show so well from 1996 just shows why you are so good at your job. The fact that you're remembering highlights, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Right.
So that's why there's
I'll never
levels to
forget it.
this, and I can only aspire.
Well, I will say this. No matter
Yes,
how
Stephen A.
great we have seen Rich Eisen be over the years,
oh, gosh.
I just get a sense that this weekend he will eclipse himself. I just get a sense. Seeing Michael Irvin, because you got to remember, Michael Irvin was off the air when Dallas lost. They haven't seen Michael Irvin yet.
Oh, my goodness.
It's gonna be beautiful.
I love that laugh, man.
It's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be beautiful.
My job. It's gonna be my job to build him back up, right?
Really?
Because we have shows to do, and then just kind of like throw darts at him, like spit darts, just kind of like give him one in the neck that he doesn't see coming. That's what I plan on doing, and I have just this notion in the sense that, Stephen A., that you invited Michael on to First Take on Mondays with the master plan that he would be on the set and you would be the first to have him on live television the day after you knew the Dallas Cowboys would ultimately disappoint him with a one-and-done performance in the playoffs.
It wasn't
like
some
it was one
secret
grand
plan.
paper.
It wasn't some secret plan. I told him. I said to him, y'all will not win a playoff game, okay? And you going to be right in front of me that Monday. They're going to lose on a Sunday, first playoff weekend, and you going to be right next to me, right in front of me, Monday morning. I said, so just brace yourself. And stupidly, not only did he bloviate about what they were going to do, he convinced Cowboy fans across the globe they were going to do it. So all of them are miserable.
Oh, my goodness.
He only knows one speed. He only knows one speed.
A beautiful mind here, Rich Eisen. It is so good to see you.
Right.
We'll be watching you this weekend on NFL Network. Please come back and join us again soon. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anytime. You know that. Good to see you guys.
See you soon.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thanks again for the invite. Thanks, Stephen.
Of course. The Cowboys and Lakers, big-name franchises that have been big-time disappointments. You may be surprised at which one Stephen A. says is the biggest disappointment. In the Cowboys and Lakers, we're going to get into all that. Plus, Jamar Chase led all rookie receivers in touchdowns this year. So is he a lock to get in the end zone this weekend? Molly's deal coming up. More First Take. Stick around.
It's the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and First Take will have the best debate anywhere.
And into the end zone. Touchdown.
Will Josh Allen outshine Patrick Mahomes and send the Chiefs packing?
He's got him. Touchdown, Buffalo.
And will that bad man?
All of that is gone. That's gone. Lakers ain't getting to the championship. So to me, that's the biggest disappointment.
You know what? I didn't want to come on here and beef with you today, Swagoo, but we got to make hamburgers because you tripping, dog. You tripping. Listen, here's the thing. First of all, let me tell you, the Lakers have a bunch of senior citizens that are on the tail end of their career basically saying, we're going to give it one last shot, okay? One last shot. The oldest team in the league. We talking about guys that are over the age of 35, except for a few of them. Okay, that's one thing. But let's not let the Cowboys off the hook. And I'm so happy that I ended our relationship 2 years ago because I got tired of being disappointed. I got tired of being fooled throughout the regular season with them going 11-4. When you look at the Cowboys currently constructed, they have a culture on both sides of the ball of young talent that they could ride for the next 6 years. And when I hear you come on here and say a guy that has eat, sleep, and breathe Dallas Cowboy Nation all year long and telling me how Dakota, whatever his name, Prescott is, and how they run the football and all that. He wasn't raining nothing the other day. He wasn't raining nothing. He was throwing it to me. So don't come on here. Listen, the Cowboys by far, Jerry's World, Jerry Jones,
about to fight.
all that
We about
by
to fight,
far
yes.
is more disappointing than the Los Angeles Lakers. First round, and then he lost to Jimmy G, who's, by the way, at the bottom tier of quarterbacks.
Y'all finished?
Stephen A., go ahead. Yeah, we're done. Go ahead. I got a lot to say. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have much to say, so you'll have the floor to say it after I finish saying what I have to say. Kendrick Perkins, you're very, very, very wrong. And here's the reason why.
Wrong.
Here's the reason why. Number one, as Zach Galifianakis said in one of my favorite comedy movies, The Campaign with Will Ferrell, I'm bringing my brooms because it's a mess.
I'm bringing my brooms.
That's what the Lakers are. They're an absolute mess. And none of us expected that. But here's the biggest reason why you're wrong, Kendrick Perkins. You gave up on the Dallas Cowboys 2 years ago, like you just said. I certainly never had any expectations for them. They weren't going anywhere. So what the hell is there to be fooled by? We all knew what they were going to do. You just officially gave up on the team because you had enough. But the fact of the matter is, we all knew they were going to fold like a cheap tent. We all knew they weren't going to win a playoff game. They didn't really have any expectations. They had hope. They had hope. There was people praying literally at the game. Did you see him? Yeah. Did you see him while they were crying, Kendrick Perkins? Did you see him at the game praying? Literally in the football stands, praying. You understand? Because they had hope, but no expectation. The expectation was that they were going to do exactly what they did. And sure enough, right on schedule, that's what they did, Kendrick Perkins. And you saw it, and that's why you gave up on them. You live in Texas, and you gave up on them 2 years ago. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. You said, I'm done. You walked the streets of Texas, and I think it's safe to say you can't hide from nobody. You too big for that. You can't hide from nobody, and you ain't thinking about hiding. You walked around Texas and said, yo, I'm sick of this team. They stink. They always disappoint me, and they ain't gonna do anything in Texas.
No, but that's where you're wrong. I didn't give up on the Cowboys because of the team. I gave up on the Cowboys because what was transpiring throughout the world at the time, and that Jerry Jones didn't speak up and say a damn word. That's what made me walk away from the Cowboys.
Now, that's the first time I heard you explain that one. I didn't know that was the reason. I didn't know that was the reason. But either way, you still didn't expect.
Can I rebut?
Well, go ahead.
Can I have my rebuttal? Because I love to fight with my little big bro because it's all honest. See, Perk, here's the thing, because you know how much I love the Cowboys. And like Stephen A. See, Stephen A. got to whoop Michael Irvin when the Cowboys lose. Because he know that I'm honest and true about who the Cowboys are. I'm going to go with the ebbs and flows of my football team.
I don't know about that.
When they win. Stephen A., let me finish explaining. Have you ever heard me on your show say the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl?
No, but I heard you say they was going to win playoff games.
I thought they would win one playoff game. I was wrong about one game. Right? The sunshine on you a lot. You were wrong about a couple things that we've had on this show a number of times before. So let's not even get into that because I'm
even right when I'm
Perk.
wrong. But go ahead. I'm even right when I'm wrong. But go ahead.
Well, no, you're not. 2019 was an epic year. Anyway, Perk, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. When you come at me about the Cowboys because you know I love the team.
Yeah.
Me and you sit on our podcast, Swagoo and Perk podcast. We just sat and taped our 12th episode. Didn't I give you the 3 tiers of disaster for the Dallas Cowboys? Didn't I just tell you the truth about what this team was? And when we get to a point where everybody starts to understand that, yes, I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm honest about the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's what we're going to do. And we have like 1 second, so you can only give me a one-word answer. Who wins a title first, Lakers or Cowboys? Stephen A. first.
Who wins the title first?
Yeah, Lakers or Cowboys. Who's going to get a ring next?
Lakers.
Perk?
I'm going with the Cowboys.
Oh.
Marcus?
Lakers.
All right. To be continued. Got to go to break. We're up against it. Josh Allen is trying to get that first playoff victory against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And someone here says if he does, the implications are big. And Bart Scott has something to say about Aaron Rodgers that will make Stephen A. lose his mind. Don't miss it. More First Take after this break.
Who got the power? We got the power. Yeah, turn me up loud.
That was the voice of God talking.
Tell me about it.
That's what I thought it was.
All right. On that note, does Rodgers need another Super Bowl to be considered amongst the all-time greats?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, because what happens is we become prisoners of the moment, right? And listen, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Absolutely. But it's levels to the Hall of Fame, right? And right now, the person that's sitting at the top is Tom Brady. But underneath that is guys like Joe Montana, John Elway. And what did those guys do that Aaron didn't do? They took their teams to Super Bowls. You just talked about it. He's lost. We've seen Aaron, the baddest man on the planet, lose last week to the greatest quarterback of all time. But we've seen other guys that were mere mortals go into Green Bay, Lambeau Field, and send him packing. So I don't think he just needs one. I think he needs two more because it's a different level and it's a different criteria when you talk about the greatest or the best of the best. So right now, Aaron Rodgers has a lot of work to do. Maybe this year's the first one or the last one that he gets.
So let me get this straight, Boss Scott. I have no problem with it because I think he needs another Super Bowl. Is it true that you're quoted as saying he actually needs two more?
Two more.
Two more.
Yep.
Why two?
Because it's a rare, you think about Ben Roethlisberger, he has two. Now, we would all agree that maybe Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger. Right. But titles matter, right? We play to win the game.
It doesn't matter in certain respects. We got Aaron Rodgers as one of the greatest ever. Ben Roethlisberger has never been considered on his level or better. And we've all known for a decade that Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls and Aaron Rodgers has 1. So obviously that's not true. Number 2, and more importantly, here's where I'm so disappointed in you. I'm just so disappointed in you. You look good, but the reality of the situation is that you got older just like the rest of us. There's a level of appreciation that you should have for being as great as you are while extra dust is collected on that birth certificate. Who is the reigning league MVP? That would be Aaron Rodgers.
That would be Aaron.
Who's about to win back-to-back MVPs in all likelihood? I mean, it's a guess, but he's right there in the conversation. He may win it in some people's eyes. He's possibly the favorite. That would be Aaron Rodgers. How old is he, Bart Scott?
37 years old.
He's 38 years old.
Oh, 38.
He's 38 years old, man. He's 38. And by the way, the brother has one. He's gone the last how many weeks here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 8 weeks without an interception. He's thrown 2 interceptions since September 12th.
How many playoff wins? How many playoff wins did that get him?
I'm not trying to say the brother doesn't have to win a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. I think this year would be very bad for Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't win, considering the team.
You're much less bold with him when we talk about the playoffs.
Because let me come around.
Your energy changes quite a bit when he brought up the playoffs.
This is Bart Scott. This is Bart Scott here. I know it. I know he knows football inside and out, so I got to be on my game. But what I'm trying to say to you is this. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I'm not trying to say he doesn't need to win a Super Bowl. Please don't get me wrong. I know that much. But I'm thinking if he wins this year with Patrick Mahomes, with Josh Allen, with Tom Brady, with Matthew Stafford, with Joe Burrow, if he wins this year at age 38 and he win a league MVP, a second back-to-back, come on now.
Listen,
you can't ignore that.
The playing field has never been so level. This thing is wide open. So I think winning this one, when there's no clear definitive favorite, they are the definitive favorite. So if he wins this year, it is less impressive than the one that he got his first one when he came in as a wild card seed. And listen, I'll bring it back to your sport. I'll bring it back to basketball. So you're telling me that Steve Nash, because all his MVPs, is the top 5 point guard? Would you say that?
Steve Nash what?
It's the top five greatest point guards of all time.
You know what? I've thought about that. I mean, there are people that make, like Eddie Johnson and others, who make a very legitimate case for him to be in the top 5. Now, for me personally, it's Irvin Magic Johnson, it's Steph Curry, it's Oscar Robertson, it's Isaiah Thomas, and then I think about CP3. That's how I think.
So I'm having the same argument that you're having in the football
But I can't knock
conversation.
Others that say Steve Nash or Jason Kidd, for example.
That's my point. My point is the same point that you're making. I'm just using it in the football sense. Because if he wins the title this year, are you putting him above Joe Montana?
No.
Are you putting him above? Are you putting him above John Elway?
Hold on, let me say this to you. I might, but let me say this to you, just so you know what my position is for the record. As a talent, not resume, clearly not resume. As a talent, I think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
So if he's number one, then that means you're putting Dan Marino. You're talking about talent. That means you're putting Dan Marino right there.
I think Dan Marino was elite. He was big time. It ain't his fault that Miami didn't win the Super Bowl. Mark Super Duper, Mark Clayton, Chuck Muncie, and those boys. But Don Shula, the great late Don Shula, God rest his soul, never gave the man a defense. So I don't blame Dan Marino for that. But still, I still didn't consider Dan Marino better than Aaron Rodgers.
So Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't win this year, or if he wins this year, he becomes the Steve Nash of quarterbacks. That's what you're saying. That's what Stephen A. Smith is saying.
I think
that Aaron Rodgers is the Steve Nash of football.
I think Aaron Rodgers is better than the Steve Nash of football. I think Aaron Rodgers with a Super Bowl championship this year. Okay, when you talk about Brady and Montana because of the number of Super Bowl
Peyton? What about Peyton? Are you putting him above Peyton with 2? You can't put him above Peyton.
Listen.
Aaron is 38 years old.
I don't have to put him below Peyton.
Yeah, you do.
Listen, that second Super Bowl Peyton Manning had, that was because of that defense. Peyton Manning's arm was shot. You know that. And I'm not disrespecting Peyton Manning, the great Peyton Manning. Nothing but respect.
You weren't going into Peyton Manning's house and beating him in the playoffs. That's for sure.
I've seen Peyton Manning lose in the playoffs.
Well, I sent him home, and that was a different time for a different story.
Okay, exactly. So Aaron Rodgers, what I'm saying to you, Aaron Rodgers is up there with anybody. Now, obviously, resume-wise, because he doesn't have the Super Bowl titles that Brady has, we get that. But as a talent, from the quarterback position, who better? Who's better?
So that means he's already scheduled to fall behind Mahomes because Mahomes already on a different trajectory.
Oh, wait a minute. You can talk about different trajectory all you want to. Last time I checked, Bart Scott cared about resume. Bart Scott cared about tenure. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes did what he did, but could you do it for a decade?
Yeah.
Could you do it for 15 years? I didn't recall Bart Scott being a dude that you could show up like a baby, be there for 2 years, and all of a sudden you're anointed, and that's that. Bart Scott, the Bart Scott I know and love,
I did 11.
Bart Scott want to go, could you do it for a decade? Could you do it for 15 years? I've
we're
seen
not
you tell other
talking
players
regular
what
season,
you going to do.
playoffs.
Yes, Aaron did.
4 NFC Championship game losses. If
Send
he
home to
loses
the
this
crib.
one again in the division round, that's a problem.
That's why I said
Let's
he
pump the
cannot
brakes,
lose
Steve.
this year. But we're saying if he wins this year at age 38, he wins league MVP.
But he's not
and
really
he wins the Super
38.
Bowl title.
He's not a normal 38-year-old. He didn't play his first 4 years. So he
First
doesn't
three.
he doesn't have the wear and tear. So that's what I'm saying. He has some ground to make up because he doesn't have the games
man.
played.
A lot of these guys don't have the wear and tear because the game of football. That does you no good, bro. Don't do that. Yeah, the media and, they might ask you questions that you don't like. They might write things about you don't appreciate or whatever. You've been around a long time. You played in the NBA for 15 years. You ain't new to this, bro. You in the movies, the movie Blue Chips with Shaq and the crew. I like that movie, and Nick Nolte and all of them. Damn it, you was in the movies for crying out loud. You played in the NBA for 15 years, and now you're a leader of young men. Unfortunately, unfairly, you cannot be a black man in that position and lose your cool the way that you did, and that works to your benefit, bro. There's too much you got to give those kids. There's too much you got to give college basketball. There's too much you have to give society as a whole, considering the influence that you're going to have on young men, to let these folks get to you and lose your cool like that. I'm sure every question ain't idiotic. I'm sure every article isn't excoriating you. You got some supporters out there because it's impossible, because anybody that knows you should support you. I support you. Penny Hardaway, I just want you to keep your cool. Remember, my brother, it's about the marathon, not the sprint. Sure, they're going to try to break you. Some people, not all, some of them, whoever they are. That ain't new to you, bro.